Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Commentario's Magic Stream on today's Sunday, January 7th, 2024. I'm, as always, Grandpaws.
Bigcheese.
Cat, and?
I'm cold.
Are you cold? How cold are you?
Not as cold as I was yesterday when we had freezing rain.
So warmer than my heart. Okay.
Guess who's all about to be cold in a week?
The three of us.
You three.
And a few hundred other people.
Yeah.
No, it's just you three. No one else will be there.
The hotel will be heated. Our room will be that one with the open vent sliding door frame.
Door that won't close.
Yep, that one.
Isn't that tradition for the Sim hotel room to be afflicted in some way?
Of course. And this is actually why Aracat is the always angry Aracat. It's actually all stemming from hotel room shenanigans.
You're not wrong, is the thing. Really not.
But we are going to Vanhoover, and it is going to be a good time, even if it's cold. And there's a lot to talk about, and we'll touch on some of the non-constructed portions of it once we get through the first part of this stream. But for now, we got to do the tradition, which is, it's our stream right before our convention, so what are we running?
Events at a con.
Yes, we are, this time.
Lots of dinner.
Yeah, there's so much dinner. I'm a little worried about Sunday. We'll see how it goes.
Not.
Yeah, I am. There is like a 4-hour gap between dim sum and Japanese barbecue, man. I'm a little worried.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
That's my line.
You can't say that line.
I will say that line here in a moment.
Alright then.
Alright, so the reason we do this, we've been over this numerous times, to avoid any sense of lack of fair play or favoritism, because we are involved in the design of the game and the rules support behind it. Before we go to a convention, we reveal what decks each of us are planning on bringing, sort of. We allow ourselves a small margin of error, in fact, 5 cards in the entire deck that can be changed between when we showcase it on stream and when we actually show up to the convention. That gives us a little bit of opportunity to make last-minute changes if we really need to.
So Aura has the opportunity to fix his main between now and then.
He sure does. Spoilers.
I spoiled nothing.
We knew what was going on. At Vanhoover this year, we have exactly one constructed event that we're going to be running. Because there's other stuff going on, which, like I said, we'll talk about in a minute. But that constructed event has historically relied on broader formats like Adventure, which is what we ran last year. But in previous years, we've also run Harmony. And given the recent success we've seen of Harmony at numerous conventions, including PVCF and Everfree, we're going to run it again. So let's take a look and go down the list and see what we are thinking about.
Aw, really? Okay. Spoilers.
I'm thinking about ponies.
I'm thinking about how I like it when my opponent doesn't have any cards. I liked it at Everfree. I liked it at Vanhoover. And
You're going to like it at Vanhoover.
I'm going to like it in Vanhoover, and I liked it at PVCF. It's a good deck. It does decently well. It has lost to Pile, and that's okay. I'm okay losing to Pile. But it's also the type of... It's fine. It's also the type of deck that allows me to stand up and walk away from the table when it's not my turn, and come back and sit down and know that I could have done nothing to change anything that happened there. So I get to go report all the judge results. And and this is important to have. There is exactly one change that I have made since PVCF, which is I used to have one copy of School Shutdown in here, and I have replaced that copy of School Shutdown with a single copy of Limestone Pie. And the reason I give for this is don't worry about it. It's totally fine. Yeah, that's it. There's definitely no reason that I would specifically need Limestone Pie in advance of going into a Harmony tournament where I need to repeatedly shut off the ability of something. Yep, it's fine.
Now, hold up a moment.
Yes.
You signed a treaty about this.
Yes, we did, and you signed it too. So you do with that information what you will.
You're going to have to sign a treaty about the signing of the treaty.
We may have to sign a treaty about the signing of the treaty. Mill's a strong deck. There's a lot of support for it in adventure and older formats, and being able to run Gyro is just kind of a combo player's dream. So it's really difficult to turn this down. It plays very well with Octavia, and there's good interaction, even if it's all happening at main phase speed, and you have the option to rip your opponent's hand apart or to, just go straight after their deck. It is a little more complicated in Harmony just because there's other shenanigans that you may have to worry about, and that's why you run silver bullet cards. But, we'll see how it goes. I bet it'll be okay. Surely.
There's a lot of mixed signals you're giving off there.
Look, all I'm saying is that having to have the burden of building decks for other people who don't have physical decks with them, and knowing what you're about to put in one of those players' hands, and what happens if you ever find that player across the table from you, may be part of the reason why I lose sleep at night. So we're just not going to let that happen. Maybe. All right. Ivory, what you got?
What do I got? I mean, I'm thinking about my deck, and I'm thinking about a nice, relaxing, calm, ordinary day where I can draw any card in my deck, and I know that I can play it, and it will contribute to every card in my problem deck. And I have a main that won't boost ever, so I don't have to worry about that either, and it'll be a great time for everyone.
It's not that it won't boost ever.
It won't boost ever. I'm not going, but if anyone wants to attempt to win a game with this in the event, please, for the love of God, play something else. But go for it if you absolutely have to.
I had forgotten how bad Loving Ruler was.
I get to be the pedant here and point out that this is not a nice, calm, ordinary day. It's still pretty calm, though.
It is a nice, calm, ordinary day. The version that you have is not a legal deck. This is a legal deck.
The version I have is a perfectly legal deck. Don't worry about the fact that there's 45 copies of Kevin. Perfectly legal.
You don't have to worry about card abilities either. It's great. You can ignore your main's card ability because you're not going to boost, so you just don't worry about it.
There's something to be said for having a very consistent draw that will always do the same thing always.
Assuming I actually wake up that day, I'll be commentating a Harmony event. So I'll be telling everyone all the ways you can snipe the cards out of Grandpa's hand before he snipes yours.
Why would you wish this on me?
Oh, I don't know. It's almost as if you're attempting to do the same thing.
I mean,
Turnabout's fair play.
admittedly, with the 2 decks we've gone over so far, I am clearly the villain.
Yep.
Can I? Is that a song cue?
Yes, that's a song cue.
Oh, well, I don't feel like singing it right now. I'll make Ara do it.
That's fair.
Or Cheese, who I think has the actual deck that I would be running if I was there.
Is that a cue to transition?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably about as good as it can get.
Yeah, would
Yeah.
100% just be running this if I was going to be there.
It's Pile, but even Pilier. The previous version of Pile that I was running tried to also be able to confront and do things. This kind of gives up on all that and says drawing cards is good.
It doesn't
And-
fully give up on it. You can still confront all
Technically.
but you
But
have
every
to confront
card
a
in
little
here-
bit at least.
So every card in here is either card draw, part of the primary combo, or color. And then the troublemakers are actually both for specific matchups. But everything else, I guess there is the one little bit of disruption. Because if you're running Skystar, there's not running belly flop is weird. And yeah, it probably works better. One of the sad things is having to run Join the Herd, because you need blue entry to play Breaking the Barrier. But there are very few, actually there is 2, I think, immediate cards that give you color, cards that give you color at immediate speed. Sorry, technically 3, the third one doesn't matter because it's Underwater Explorers, whatever that stupid card was.
You mean the one that's really, really bad?
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. It's a 0 or a -1.
Negative
I
one?
guess it's a
Ooh.
not quite. It's a 0. Yeah. Other than that, it's just Pile.
It is so interesting seeing this deck continue to be more and more refined and move further and further from the traditional method.
Oh yeah, there's no more DJ.
DJ was bad. DJ got sided
She
out
was. She got
every
sided out.
game.
In fact, the only DJ in the deck is "Let's get this party started." Yeah.
I'm still not sure how I feel about the rock farms, but it's
Yeah,
probably correct.
I took one out for a rushed makeover. Rush isn't great here because main phase, but it's still useful to get Spitfire or Angel Wings if your trading traditions went away. And yeah, Rock Farm helps your opponent too, but I like drawing cards.
You're gonna run the gambit that it helps you more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I guess that actually... Oh, man. Okay, so in a really weird roundabout way, I think that actually counts as point acceleration.
It can, yeah.
Yes. So that too, it does.
It changes the song lyrics yet again.
Yep. We had pile math all worked out, Cheese, and then you had to go ruin it.
Now it's 5 points. 12?
5 points, 11 points.
11
Yeah.
points? Yeah, because it's only the first one? Yeah.
What if you have 2 of them in play? Does that do nothing? I think that does
No,
nothing, actually.
It still does. Every card draw.
It is not. Remember, you need to use the
The first
actual.
3.
You need to use the actual OCR text. of Rock
Oh,
Farm.
yeah, but Rock Farm stacks.
Yes, it does stack.
It does not multiplicatively
Yeah,
stack.
it stacks
Correct.
linearly, not lol.
No, draw 4 cards, cheese. It's great.
We can go back and find the Facebook arguments on Hey Canterlot for why people thought that was what it should do.
We don't talk about that god-awful Facebook group.
Shoutouts to anyone here from Hey Canterlot.
You know it was bad. Don't even pretend. Even if you started there, it's a terrible
I know.
place.
I know.
I still have a backup of the old one that got accidentally privated.
Same.
Amazing.
Good stuff. Something tells me those Tempests might be useful in here.
Yeah. They're mainly there against Thorax and other like somewhat annoying to flip mains.
Oh, you mean like one that would screw you over, like, oh, I don't know, Bubbly Mare?
Yeah. Good against Bubbly Main. It's okay against like Fluttershy. The exhaust stick in front one.
It
You
can
guys
be.
seem really interested in getting rid of Bubbly Mare. Did you get a tip-off or something?
No?
I got tasting notes and then had to build a deck around them.
Tempest Shadow, she's been in the deck since... Well, she was in the version I ran at every con.
Yeah, Tempest is always in there, but I mean, with GP like wanting limestones, like you guys really are scared of Bubbly Mare for some reason. This is not a commonly used card, even in Harmony.
Okay, but like, Cheese's deck just loses to that card. Like, there's literally no way he can win. And I'm also relatively unhappy about it. So let's find a player who probably doesn't care. Ara?
Huh? What? I wasn't paying attention.
The only thing Ara needs to be paying attention to is that main's got to change.
Yeah.
Okay, so historically I've been running around with that Cadence Blue deck. I haven't been having a great time with it, and this isn't even from a like results perspective because it's honestly never finished that well, but that's okay. That deck just it feels difficult to play. Requires too much thinking. There's too many times that it gives you a handful of stuff that you can't use, and it's just like, ugh. So we're going back to yellow. Going back to mono yellow. And no, I'm not running the trader, even though I think this is to my probable detriment, because let's be perfectly honest, Thorax main decks are probably a little bit more powerful, but I have one concern, and it's just a little tiny, little thing. The Thorax is a buy some apples.
That's your justification.
That's my justification.
Now, it's always been your justification, so at least you're consistent.
Now, the rest of this is not too surprising. It's fairly, I guess, traditional in terms of a couch potato type deck. Notably, Queen Novo is gone. And GP made an excellent suggestion of swapping the Changeling Citizens for Marble Pie. Because at least in this case, as long as you got Buckball around, Marble's a token cheaper.
I'm pretty sure you also want to run Industrial Revolution over Corralling Critters, like, instantly.
Yeah, that would also be a very relevant thing to do. So this is definitely not a core deck that just had a couple of cards slapped into it, so oops, there goes 3 of my slots. Oh well.
Oops, it's fine.
I mean, you're only running 2 corralling, so unless the third one is the main.
Third one's the main. You heard him mention it. You heard it here first, folks. He knows. He knows what's up.
And then
He's
Novo's
gonna-
getting swapped for Antoine because AT acceleration is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Antoine's just too good to not run. I do have to question one thing. Where are your adoption options?
Well, there's no big fluts in here.
Yeah.
That's okay. Get a Brian.
You could get a Brian.
Or an
Wait.
angel horsing around.
Is there? Okay, no. I was like, wait, where's the bunyips? Okay, they're there.
They're there. The bunyips are there. This is a mono yellow aggro deck. Give Aura a little bit of credit.
Just a little bit, because, yeah.
Well, that's why you have 5 slots to mess with, so.
I mean, I guess the adoption options aren't as good if you're not running Birds of a Feather, but still, they are an option.
They are
And?
indeed.
They're an option for adoption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where is this epic tournament going to take place?
This is taking place in Richmond, technically, I believe.
Yes. Richmond,
Yeah.
British Columbia.
At Vanhoover, where there will be a couple other events CCG oriented as well, including the world famous Cube Draft curated by Pages. Thank you, Pages. Cube Draft is a tremendously fun experience, so for any of you who are making the trek up to the Great White North, take off. It's a beauty way to go. And I immediately dated myself by making that reference, and I'm sure no one else here got it, and that's fine.
Nope.
That will be taking place Friday evening. And you may be able to watch part of that event. Thank you, Animoy. I'm glad you did. You may be able to watch part of that event being live streamed, which is good. You will be able to watch the Harmony tournament taking place Saturday at about, I believe, 2 Pacific. Is that right? 2 or 2:30 Pacific, one of the two. 2-ish.
2:30.
2:30 Pacific on this upcoming Saturday with live remote commentary from our very own Ivory Starlight.
If I'm awake.
And I believe Bugle will be commentating with you.
If he's awake.
If he's awake. But then Sunday. Sunday. Correct. It's Canada's first Design a Card panel. Because apparently Richmond loves us more than Milwaukee does. And we love you right back, Richmond.
See, so here's the best part about this. I get to slap Fabrique au Canada on the card.
Yes, you do. And even those of you who don't have the chance to attend in person will likely still be able to contribute some of your thoughts or ideas as we walk through the process of designing a card with all those in attendance digitally or in person. And that will be at, I believe they have us scheduled for 12 o'clock noon on Sunday. It might be 11:30. I'll verify. So it will be a weekend full of fun, frozen CCG activity.
I'm annoyed that we can't use the highest room of the tallest tower thing anymore.
Yeah, it's sad.
I liked that room.
Now, I did want to bring one little thing up here because most of us have talked about some of these decks that we're running before, or at least something that's very similar to them. But to those of you who think that we're just rehashing the same decks again and again and not actually trying to do any more innovation, I'm going to prove you wrong right now. Because I'm going to ask Aura and Cheese and Ivory the type of question that I have a tendency to ask at like 11 o'clock at night in our voice chat that should immediately signal that I am in full shenanigans mode. And this is something I was considering within the last 10 minutes just before the stream started. So, Ara, are you ready?
Hold on, let me go look in my liquor cabinet. That's going to be a no.
All right.
But
excellent.
I think you're going to do it anyway.
I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. So, I started off by looking at the wording of the diligent keyword, which says when you win a face-off involving this card, you may put X plus 1 power counters on this card, where X is whatever the numerical value of diligent is. And I then looked at the rules for troublemaker face-offs. If you are challenging your own troublemaker, your characters at that troublemaker's problem and that troublemaker are involved in the face-off. That troublemaker contributes its power for your opponent. But you still control that troublemaker, which means you still control its abilities. So if there were a way to say, give diligent to your troublemaker, like through Princess Twilight, you are from Marks in Time, then even if you defeated your own troublemaker, you'd still have a trigger of diligent for that troublemaker, because it was involved. It doesn't have to contribute its power for you to win diligent. It just has to be involved in a face-off where you control it and you won. Of course, if you defeat a troublemaker, then it is dismissed and it goes away before you'd actually process the diligent trigger. Unless it was something like the Smooze, where if it would be defeated, you can remove a power counter instead. But the Smooze, of course, isn't epic.
Oh my god.
So you make it epic.
Unless we have Cozy Glow there, making the Smooze epic. So now we have a troublemaker that is epic, that every time it would be defeated, you can remove a +1 power counter from it instead. That every time you, as a player, win a face-off involving that troublemaker, even if you're challenging it, you get to put 2 +1 power counters on that troublemaker. And if you had a means of, oh, I don't know, like scoring points when you won a face-off, like with a Daybreaker or, you know, something similar, and maybe played a copy of Heartfelt Apology and used the purple minuet from Canterlot Knights that, you know, whenever you end at the end of a troublemaker phase, you can retire this card to start a new troublemaker phase. And then she costs 2, and so you score a point off of beating up Smooze and then bring her back and then repeat it, and you lock yourself inside a troublemaker phase forever.
Fun.
But I didn't build this.
Now that you've accomplished all of this, how do you win?
That's it. You win a point every time you win the face-off. Because the trigger to allow you to process Heartfelt Apology is you have to score 1 or more points. Diligent is optional, so you could stop at any time. I can also stop when I reach 15. That seems like a good time to stop. And yes, you are correct. Diligent is optional, so if Smooze's power starts getting too strong, well, we can fix that. But yeah, so that's just a glimpse into the madness of what happens in Harmony when you have to build decks. Is you start getting ideas like that. But I'm not doing it. But you should. All right.
Or you
Wait.
cannot do that, because that's a lot of cards.
What are you using to more troublemaker phases?
Minuet from Canterlot Knights.
That's right, it's not in harmony mode.
She costs 2. It's a good old time for everybody.
This is dumb.
Is it? Yeah, it's pretty dumb. That's why I didn't play it. But I thought about it. It is also worth noting, on a completely different topic, that Vanhoover will be kicking off the 10th year of the My Little Pony collectible card game at conventions, in-person events, all of that stuff. Technically, the actual release date was last year, but this is the first convention since we've passed that notable date. So, welcome to year 10. Buckle up. We've got some stuff in the works. Any other comments from anyone, as I am clearly now stretching and stalling for time as best I can?
Still sitting here just trying to comprehend thisness that you
The thing? What about it? People didn't like the decks when you could just take all of the turns, so I don't need to take all of the turns. I'm playing it far more fairly, and I'm only taking all of one particular phase.
just entering an infinite loop inside one of your own phases.
Correct.
Well, I guess I do have a thought about this, and that thought is it's going to be real fun for somebody during the next Hacko.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, probably so. Alright. Am I missing anything else? No?
I mean, the usual con thing, make sure you've got extra sleeves, bring your deck, bring your dice, bring a playmat.
Yep.
Or don't, because apparently GP's just handing those out now.
What, decks? If your cards are inaccessible to you because they are outside of your country of residence, send me a private message. And we'll see what we can do. More than 24 hours notice is required. Also, I'm not building that deck, Hithrock. I'll build the new one you sent to me, but I'm not building that one. That'll about wrap up our discussion on this topic for today, though. We would like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron and you enjoy what we do, consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. And if you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day, anytime.
My sleep schedule, okay, is still pretty screwed up. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Finally, if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, linked just below the stream. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Bigcheese?
Still boggling at thisness. And
I'm replacing your main.
Nice. And we'll see many of you in Canada.
Bye.
Bye.
Make sure you blame them while you're there.
Blame them for a good time, maybe. Bye.